Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's Critical and welcome back to Minecraft Bedrock Edition. Yes, we're here once again on the realm. I'm back. I think I'm back. I don't know for sure. We'll see how this video does and how this goes, but I think I might be coming back at least for a little bit here to hang out on the realm. Now, for those of you that don't know, there are a lot of episodes of this series already on the channel. There's like 50 or more live streams and like 20 to 30 episodes, I believe. But yeah, we're going to be doing kind of a weekly one. This is going to be our Bedrock Edition series for the week. And this week, we're going to be doing a world tour. Now, I'm labeling this season 2, but this series has already been going on for a very long time. But I think it'll be easier for any new folks watching if we start this off as kind of its own thing. And also to kind of differentiate between what we've been doing before, because we're going to be working on very different projects this time. We'll still be working on some of the old stuff too, but as far as like a main base goes, I think I'm moving on from the Nether area. And I'm going to try to do something different, something fun. So, World Tour episode, here we go. Let's get this started. Probably won't be cutting it all this episode because I have to upload this tomorrow, but we're going to go through and we're going to take a little tour of all of my buildings. Now, we have about 7 other members on the server, and they're not always online, so I'm going to be kind of treating this as like a single-player series with occasional guests. But we're going to be going over my builds today. We might check out some of the other builds in a later episode, but we shall see. We're starting over here at the harbor. Now, the harbor is kind of a community group area. It's sort of like Spawn, but, you know, it's like our shopping district, kind of, that we're building. And it's like a little harbor town. So we'll check out some of the closer to harbor things in a moment. But we're starting over here at the color shop. And the best place to start for this build is actually downstairs, because downstairs is where all the magic happens. So if we head down here, you can see we've got all of the storage area down here. If we look down, there are many, many floors, I think 4 floors total, of sheep chambers. And all of these are automatic, and they're all gathering wool. As a matter of fact, we can head down to one of the lower ones right now. Let's actually head all the way down to the bottom floor and check that out real quick. If we head in here, you can see that these are always gathering wool, and they've got a ton in each and every one of them. I've gathered some of it and brought it up top or used it for different projects at points, but for the most part, this has also got a ton of stuff in here, so it's pretty awesome, and it gets me more wool than I could ever possibly use. Let's actually head back up the elevator here. Then the top part of the base, or I guess the middle part here, kind of acts as like a dye farm, sort of, or mainly aesthetics for the most part. I don't really use this too much, but if we head up here, this is like the shopping area, right? So if we head over here, there's kind of some free wool. I made all the wool free because no one uses wool that much, and I make so much of it that it doesn't really matter. You can see all of our wools here, and then if we head over into this other building here, this is actually the shop. So all of these things cost, these are like, you know, diamond for things. But we've got glazed terracotta, we've got hardened clay, we've got concrete powder. We have all the things in here that you could ever possibly need involving colors, even dyes. Got them off on the side over here. So this is probably my biggest build. Well, I would say this is my most detailed build. That's probably my biggest build here, so we'll head over to that next, actually. So this is a bookstore, a library, actually, and this is where we store and sell all of the different enchanted book types. As you can see here, there is a slot in the store for all of the different books that you can get throughout the game. And it loops all the way around here. We've got some stuff up top as well, I believe. I think there might be some of the more... Actually, I think I moved those down here. I think that was like mending and binding and stuff when I moved them down here. I don't know what's happened here. I think it glitched out and replaced something that I put there with that. But either way, this is kind of our little bookstore here. It's got some pretty tall ceilings. We can actually head upstairs and take a look at all of this. There's some chandeliers and stuff up here. And I think I put like a... Oops, I didn't mean to fire that off. I think I put like a crystal over here as well to kind of signify... Yeah, like this is like powering the enchanting table. I think Doll would like this because it's very fantasy magical themed. My this series I was a lot more fantasy build style than... oh yeah, there's a hot air balloon up there too. than I was corporate, so it's very different than my recent building styles. If we head in here, though, we have a trading depot, and the reason it's called a trading depot is because this is specifically everything that you can get from basically farms and stuff. Like, eventually we're going to have a lower floor for, like, piglin trading and stuff, but right now it's all the raid farm stuff, so this is everything you get from raid farms, which we have one of those set up on the server as well, and we will check that out later, but this is a fun little build we got here. And if we head upstairs, there is a little bit of a office on the top floor, which kind of just acts as our, I don't know, like our office for the district, which I think is pretty cool. I've done a lot of terraforming and stuff in this area on and off camera. So all of the snowbank, I kind of added all that in to make that look a little more natural. All of this was like a cave system opened up, so I built this huge hill over it with some spike rocks and a bunch of flowers and everything. And then all of these tall trees that you see throughout here was a project that I was kind of working on last season, where we were adding in all of these trees to kind of make the area look like it used to be a forest, maybe. Which I'd like to continue this, because these are actually pretty easy to build and pretty fun. I also built this whole land structure here that comes out and hides our nether portal away. And this structure as well. So this is kind of our entry building leading off into the area. And if we go in here, there's just kind of like a little... This is kind of like the public office area. So there's like some storage for everyone up here. Basically any community resources or anything are all up in this chest up here. And then there's a map of the area. Although I don't know how updated this is, actually. Let's pick this up real quick and find out. Oh, it seems to be updated. Maybe? Some stuff changed there. I'm not sure quite what. But yeah, you can see some stuff definitely updating as I pick these up. Whoa. That was a big one. Actually, I'll have to come back at some point and update this because I think this goes a little further. But let's head out of here. There's one more thing we have to look at while we're here. Ooh, danger. Danger. Let's head over into one of the buildings that Trent built over here and go sleep in some of the beds. Here we go. So yeah, a lot of the builds that you're going to see are built by other people. We're not going over those today. I just kind of wanted to catch you guys up of what I've done on the server. That way, when I come back in future episodes and start working on stuff again, it'll make a little bit more sense. Once again, continuing off with the landscaping stuff, I kind of re-terraformed this whole mountain front, at least up to this crane over here. And I redid it with like brown and normal terracotta and like coarse dirt and stuff to kind of make it look like the dirt really went a lot higher. And then we kind of fade down into stone. And then at the bottom, there's cobble and mossy cobble to kind of mix with the water down here. This boat was made, all of the wooden parts of the boat were made by Trent. And then I went in and did the sails up on top. So that was all done by me. So this was kind of like a team project that we did. And oh, I thought those were llama heads just like sitting on the ground. It was weird. This is one of the coolest like co-projects I think we've done. Like it's just two completely different people building both the halves of the ship, but it looks really, really good. And I like that a lot. That was one of the fun. I'm not very good at boats and sails. Like I especially struggle with the frame of the boat. So I'm glad that I could like mess around with sails, which I'm a little more comfortable with. And he could come up with a really cool design for the boat. I'm pretty happy with that. But let's make our way over to spawn, where some of my earlier structures and builds were. So I've kind of been on and off on this world a lot over the years. I would say, man, it's probably been like 2 years total that I've been like a member of this world. So the first thing that I built and what I started earliest is all the way over here, if we head this direction, is this giant castle. Now that is my Minecraft skin. So this kind of marks the beginning of my territory. So I built this little garden here with this massive tree in the middle, and all these little trees is like kind of a separator between the builds that I'd put over here and the smaller buildings that spawn, because I felt like it looked a little weird having like these two giant buildings and then pretty much everything from this direction all the way over to the harbor are much smaller. So I kind of wanted a divider, so I added this little forest here. But this kind of marks the beginning of my actual area. So if we head over the bridge here, this is known as the Diamond Keep, and this is the first thing ever built in the world. And we've come back many times to renovate this. But if we come inside, you can see we've got a giant horse statue, which I didn't design. It was designed by someone else. But all the rest of this is mine. I built this massive castle. As a matter of fact, one of the most recent things we did is we came back and we built a throne room down here. We can actually go down and check this out. Yeah, so this is a massive throne room. We've got these kind of like walkways going overhead. All the towers go all the way up, and then they go all the way down to bedrock down there as well. And that's for every one of the towers in this build. They all do that. As a matter of fact, if we walk up here, you can see this one actually has a staircase built into it. So it goes all the way down to bedrock, and then it goes all the way up to the top. And if we head up this ladder here, which I believe is the only way to the upper floor, now that I think about it, you can see kind of the top area. So we've got some crossbows up on the tower roofs leading off to places. And then off to the left here, we have this massive kind of like crop field surrounded by a big wall. And the wall kind of marks the edge of spawn, sort of. So there's no more builds at spawn past this castle and past this little Coliseum over here, which is actually, there's an alarm going off, my apologies, which is actually the second build, I think, that I built on the world. So if we fly over here, I built this massive Coliseum, which has kind of acted as our like battle arena of sorts. And you can see there's like capture the flag, and we've done some PvP games here before. And then I came back at some point and built this little desert city around the edge, and then I built this wall over here to kind of signify the edge of spawn. So this is like the gate leading out of the city, joining into the gold road that Austin and Trent built, which leads off to one of their bases off in the distance. But yeah, so we built this whole little desert town around this as well, which I think is pretty fun. I'm really happy with this build. This is like a nice, cute, like small build. I like this a lot because it was pretty simple to design, but it was a lot of fun to do. But now we need to head off into the Nether because the rest of our stuff is actually pretty far away. So after I kind of finished up the castle, or rather I wanted to move on from the castle, I decided to build in the Nether. Now, this project never got finished, and it probably never will because it's just a massive project, and it's so difficult to build in the Nether. Oh dear. I gotta shoot the fireball first. Oh, that didn't work at all. Hold on. Please die. Okay. And I vastly underestimated just how difficult building in the Nether was going to be. Now, I did a pretty good job. I got pretty far, but eventually I kind of just gave up on this project for the most part. And I've come back many times and kept building on it, and I was trying to push myself, but I don't know what this portal's doing here. I think, as for Season 2 here, I don't think we're going to mess with the Nether. I don't think I want to build in the Nether. It's not the prettiest place to be, and it's not the easiest place to build, so I think we're going to be moving on. But we're still going to check out this build because it is an awesome build. So as you can see here, I kind of built like a city in the sky sort of thing, where there's these massive... Oh, good lord. Okay, we're going to put that back now. There's this massive city in the sky, so we've got these huge towers that come up off of the ground. And as a matter of fact, most of my items are stored in here right now, I believe. Yeah, all of my stuff's stored in all of these shulker boxes and everything at the moment. There's a massive entrance building. There's a huge wall surrounding the entire city. And then there's these massive bridges that go from building to building. And I think eventually we'll probably come back here and do some stuff if we're here for long enough. But for now, I'm not going to be focusing on this project because I have some ideas for some new stuff that I want to be doing. All of this, though, was essentially the entrance into my first home away from home. Or home away from spawn, rather. And if we head to this portal, we can check this out. So, I built this massive island off here in the distance. So originally my base was going to be in the Nether, and this was supposed to act as basically just like my farm area. So I actually leveled... What is that? Oh, I forgot I built an iron farm. I saw that off in the distance, and I was like, what on earth did I build over there? That's an iron farm. Yeah, you can hear some stuff clicking down below. Basically, there was a huge island here that I found, and I was like, wow, I really like this island. I want to redecorate it. So I tore the whole thing down, and I built up this massive island around it, and I built a jungle on it, and I built a little forest over there. And basically, if we fly up, it's entirely custom terrain, right? So all of the sides and everything, all of the beach fronts and all, are purely custom, and the reason for this is because the entire innards of this are for other farms and such. So we've got a huge sheep farm in here, similar to the one at spawn, and we have a reed farm, and then I think we have a cactus farm over here as well. And I eventually was going to build some other things here too, if I ever needed any other builds or any other farms built. But the other important thing is that I was able to design above the ocean all of our other farms. So we have a huge gold farm over here, which gets ridiculous amounts of gold. We've got a massive creeper farm. As I showed you over here, there's the iron farm off to the side, which is pretty efficient as well. If we fly over this way, it doesn't work anymore because of some updates that came out with the game, but there is a massive guardian farm that we'll have to renovate at some point. And lastly, if we head off in this direction, one other thing that I built a little closer to the island is a gigantic squid farm. I don't want to fly into it because I'm going to end up getting... What is happening? That was weird. Well, I think I'm getting a little bit of lag there. Oh, I'm still flying somehow. Yeah, this is very weird. But yeah, so we have this massive squid farm over here, which you of course have to cover all of the water in the area to get this to work. But as you can see here, things just spawn and die essentially endlessly. And then of course, if I have the minecarts running, it'll bring everything back into these chests down here. But yeah, so this entire area acted just as a farm. And the reason that I built it out here is because one of my other builds, and actually probably the final one we'll check out today, is in the end, and the end portal is right under the ocean over here, under this little structure here. So this is, of course, the stronghold. And if we head off in this direction, you'll see that... Oh, I forgot I put a portal here as well. It's been a while since I've been on the world, and I only ran around for a little bit today before recording, so I'm not fully aware of everything going on here. But if we fly over here, you'll see there is this massive ice track. And the harbor and this are the two projects that I think we'll probably continue to work on a bit, because this is a lot of fun, this project. And if we head over this way, you're going to see why. Now, this goes about 1,000 blocks out, and you can actually see that I'm here so little that the dragon balls from the dragon fights are still there. But if we look this way, I'm actually going to slow up once I see the terrain, because I want you guys to get the full scale of what we're approaching. But you got to go about 1,000 blocks out, so I built this massive ice track. But here we go. I'm going to slow down. You can see something loading in. Boom. Check this out. So... this is actually a Lego set. Uh-oh, this doesn't work anymore. Used to, this would break the boat. They must have changed that. That's unfortunate. This is actually a giant Lego set. It's the Jokerland entrance from, it's Wayne Mansion as Jokerland from the Lego Batman movie. And we built it here in the world, and then we added all of these nice little, fences and park things around it. And in the back here, this was actually meant to be a theme park. So you can see here, we were going to have this huge open building on the back. It was going to be a fun house, basically, on this side. And then if we head down here, we were going to have this big cul-de-sac right here. And it was going to lead off in different directions. And before I stopped playing on the world, we actually were working on building a haunted house, which maybe we'll come back and finish at some point. That's actually based off the house from Lock and Key, if you've ever seen the Netflix show. But we didn't get any further than this right here. This was actually when I joined Comic Craft, and we kind of stopped playing on here a little bit just because I was getting all set up there. But I think we're going to attempt now to do two projects at once, and we're going to see, or two servers at once, and we're going to see how this is going to go. But yeah, so that, I have a lot of plans for a project that I want to work on. And I want to keep working kind of over at the harbor. So what I think we're going to do is we're actually going to move back to spawn. And we're going to build something near-ish there so that we're not so far away from everyone. Because that was kind of one of the problems too, is I was building in the end and I was building at the Nether and everyone was very far away. So I think we're going to move a little bit closer to spawn. But we will, of course, at some point, I'm sure, work here. and I'm sure we'll work on some of the other projects too. But that is pretty much everything. There is one other little area that I forgot to show you guys, which is the raid farm, but it's not very pretty. It's just kind of a very functional raid farm, so I think we're going to pass on showing you guys that today since it's so far away and not very interesting. But I hope you guys are excited about this. I hope I can do this as kind of like my weekly Bedrock series. I don't think we'll do this more than weekly, much like Comic Craft, because with 2 Minecraft series going, I kind of have to balance between the 2. But I think we can have some fun here and get a lot of cool stuff built, and maybe occasionally have some people join us for some fun. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this one. As I said, this is just going to be a world tour episode, so that is going to do it for this one. But if you did enjoy it, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content. And I will see you guys next week when we actually kick this thing off. Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye.